Hello, Mom Kai here. And for this video's topic, we'll talk about communication. I hope you're ready. Communication is what connects us human beings. So it is important that we discuss about it. Let's first define what communication is about. Communication is derived from the Latin word common, which means belongs to many, and communico to refer to others. There is also another Latin word, which is communicare, which means to share or to make common. Communication is about exchanging of ideas from one person to another. The aim of communication is to express or send a thought or message to a single person, a small group, a big audience, or the mass. It is said that communication is a two-way process because if someone sends a message, someone will receive and interpret the message. And that is what we call encoding and decoding. As mentioned earlier, communication is a means of connecting people or places because through communication, we can initiate, we can maintain, and we may terminate relationships. We may also influence and persuade others. We can air our concerns, our fears, desires, questions, and answers. It may also be used to manage and resolve personal concerns. So now that we know what communication is, let's talk about the elements of communication. The first element that we have is the sender. The sender is the one who conceptualizes an idea in his mind before he is able to formulate and organize the message he will send, meaning that the sender is the one who will start the conversation or the communication process because the sender is the one who will form or who is the source of the message. After the sender has created or has started the communication event, of course, what the sender is sending is what we call message. Message is the final concept of the formulated idea by the sender. Message is known to be the vital element because, of course, if there is no message, there will be no communication. Imagine watching players playing basketball without the actual ball. That's the same thing with message. It is a must in a communication process. The third element that we have is the medium. The medium is the immediate form which a message takes form, okay? It can be in the form of written or spoken. The next element that we have is the channel. The channel is the route traveled by message. It can be the tools that we use to transfer messages. So it can be through our phones, through our laptops, through writing, through using a pen and a paper. The fifth element that we have is the receiver. Of course, the receiver is the one who will absorb the message. One of the roles of the receiver is to interpret the message that he or she has received. One role of the receiver as well is to give feedback or to respond. It is also said that giving a feedback is a result of a successful communication. Number 6, we have the feedback or the effect. This is important as it determines whether or not the decoder grasped the intended meaning and whether communication was successful. So feedback is the message being sent by the receiver in response to the message he or she has received. So when this happens, the receiver now plays the role of the sender and the sender vice versa. The next element that we have is the context. When we say context, this is about the circumstances of the communication event. Or this may talk about the contributing factors that may affect the flow of communication. It may talk about place, time, event, the behavior, attitudes of the sender and the receiver. For example, is it a formal event or is it an informal one? What is the purpose of the event? Last element that we have is the noise, or also called as interference. Noise is what makes it hard for us to communicate properly. There are two types of noise. First one is physical noise. Physical noise is the type of noise that we hear from our surroundings. Example would be our neighbors always doing concert with their karaoke, or maybe your dad's favorite pet, yung panabong. So that would be considered as physical noise. Another type of noise is psychological noise. And this one happens within the mind of the speaker or the receiver. An example of psychological noise is being mental block. There are also other people who hear this thin sound within their minds whenever they speak in front of people. Another example of psychological noise is having stage fright. So that's it. Those are the elements of communication as well as the definition of communication. I hope you have learned something. Now, if you think that this video has helped you in any way, don't forget to like and subscribe. You may also share this video to your friends. Thank you and see you on our next one. Goodbye.